Hi, welcome back to another episode of Fox Talks. Tonight we're joined by Wakefield Town Councillor Paul DiNocco. Welcome, Paul. How are you doing tonight?
And good evening, Brian. And how are you? We're doing very well here at the compound.
I've been following a lot of your landscaping you have going on. I can tell that you've had a little bit of time on your hands.
Just a little bit more than I'm accustomed to, but slowly but surely, I'll have a well-manicured landscape, and I won't have to worry about it for the rest of the summer.
Are you going to start a landscaping business with all this extra time on your hands, and you come do place like my house?
No, that's not in the cards right now. I want to enjoy the summer this year, if we get a chance to.
If you get, I'm sure you have some time to enjoy it.
I am too.
So, Paul, how long have you been a town councillor?
2009, I put my name on the ballot, and I shocked the world. I became a member of the Board of Selectmen, and I ran against, at that time, it was Phyllis Hull, and I took out an incumbent. And as I said, it shocked a few of the then members of the council, of the board, that something like that could occur. But I've been there since 2009, and I'm going into my 12th year right now.
And you're the longest tenured member of the current town council, correct?
Yes, sir. Longest tenured as well as the oldest member.
Well, I didn't want to use the word old to describe you, but
that's okay. I'll graciously accept my age. I am the oldest member on the board. I am the last elected male member as a selectman. So,
congratulations, I think.
Yeah, well, that to a lot of people it was congratulatory, yes. But that's okay. I mean, it's fine. The name doesn't really mean anything if you really think about it. It's the actions in which you perform to serve the community in which you were elected.
Now, how do you think things have changed since you were first elected? I'm sure you hear more from people on Facebook than ever before. You're more connected to people. So you think that's been a big improvement on your job or detriment, depending how you look at it?
It was a lot different when I first started because Facebook wasn't around right away. At least I didn't jump in on it that early. I don't think I signed on to Facebook probably until the end of 2010, if that. So I think that over time, social media causes a lot of, I love the word angst. So I'll continue to use that one.
Yes, you posted about that earlier today or yesterday. So
that's true. It does cause a lot of angst because, freedom of speech and people have the right to their opinion, even though when they don't have the facts straight, they still have the right to say what they want. And it does become bothersome. And I have notifications turned off on most of the sites now just because of that. So I know what my job is. I try to do my job to the best of my abilities. I'm not going to please everyone. There will be that 0.5% of the voting mass that will have comments to say or be in disagreement with you. But that's all right. That they're entitled to their opinions, and if they chose to make them oral, or even better yet, put them in paper so that I can copy and paste them for future use, that's fine. But it's good. It's good. It helps get the message out, and I use it a lot right now to support businesses in the town. So. And if people want to know about what's happening on the councilor's end, I put that out there too on the my town councilor Facebook page. So I do utilize it to get messages out on my own part, but it's only to help people either obtain information, or if they ask questions, provide them with an answer if I can, or give them a contact number for which they can get their matter resolved. So it's good. It's good. Nowadays, it's good.
So when you were a young lad, you grew up in Revere. You moved to Wakefield as an adult. So how long have you been a Wakefieldian?
We moved here in October of 1988, and I'm still called. I'm still told that I'm not a townie, but that's fine. I mean, I wasn't born and bred here. My son was born and bred here.
What I tell people in those circumstances, it's really got to be your grandparents that are born here. It can't just be you were born here. You got to go further back than that.
Well, I mean, to a lot of them, it isn't.
You can't be official yet.
That's fine. You know something? It's all good. When I first got elected into office, it was back in 2000. When I first was elected to the planning board. So, I mean, this is my 20th year serving the community.
That is a long time.
That's a very long time. And that's continuous with no break. So, I've learned a lot over the years. Being in office this long, you get to know the people, you get to work with them, you find out, you know, the little idiosyncrasies that each and every one has. So it's good. I learned a lot being a councilor or a selectman over the years. The financial side, most people have no clue what that is, and it takes a little while to follow it, but I understand where the money is. I understand how fast it can go out. I know the benefits of having it, you know, in reserve. And most of the times you do have to hold on to it, but there are cases when it's there to be spent, and spend it where you will.
Are you referring to the latest vote about the economic development, or just in general?
I've been a strong proponent of that position now for the past 6 years. I've always felt that this town needs a person who works for the town that is going to solicit all forms of development in this town, not just residential. We have a lot of commercial property. Some of it may not be completely occupied, that person should be able to go to a business and say, I have an ideal piece of property for you located here. It has 15,000 square feet of office space. It's suited perfectly for you. Why don't you come and talk to me? That's what we really need as a director. We need to know whether or not we're going down the wrong path or we're going down the right path. What additional information do we need? We don't have that right now. And I think if we don't fill that position soon, we can't fill it before July until after town meeting, because that's when the money would be appropriated if it passes town meeting. It's going to be coinciding right now with everyone going back to work. The businesses are still fearful out there right now. We need someone that's going to be able to guide them through this whole process and into it. You know, our town administrator does his best on what it is, but you can't keep on putting more logs onto the fire and not to expect the flame to go down a little bit. I mean, he has enough to deal with the finances, the COVID crisis, the unions. He's got a lot on his plate already. So two people are retiring this year, and the jobs are both important. So I think both of them have to get filled, to be honest with you.
And with regard to business, you and I, as well as members of some other town organizations, have been involved in a little project to try and raise some money for some businesses. So is there anything you want to talk about with regard to our little project we've been working on?
Well, it's an honor and a privilege to have been able to solicit interest from 3 additional organizations to form the Friends of Wakefield Small Business Fund. It started off slow, it's gaining speed, but this fund right now would support small businesses who have the greatest need due to the crisis involving the COVID coronavirus. So a lot of them haven't been opened. Their doors have been shuttered. They still have rent to pay. They still have insurance to pay. They still have bills to pay. They still have to put food on their table, but they've made no money over the last 7 weeks. It will
Could be months.
benefit
I
them.
mean,
Excuse me?
could be months. Some businesses shut down in, mid-March, and here we are approaching mid-May.
That's right. So I mean, so they're hurting right now. So this fund, we're hoping we'll have some money in there to make the grant that we give them be supportive enough that they can say, wow, this is really going to help. And as of yesterday, we have an anonymous donor that has committed to matching the total monies we bring in up to the amount of $25,000.
Which is huge. It's going to help a lot of businesses in town.
That will be a huge help to the businesses in town. If we make our $25,000 mark on our own and they match it for an additional $50,000 will go a long way to support the merchants that can meet the conditions that we put in on the application before they can fill out the application. Mm-hmm. And I can see it going a long way as far as that's concerned. We just need to get to that 25,000 mark. So if you haven't made a donation, $10, $25, we'll take whatever you can. These businesses have always supported the PTOs, the sports groups, the organizations, the Main Street organization. They've supported the chamber. They've supported the Independence Day Committee, the community partnership. They've supported us for years. It's an honor to be turning it around and now having the ability to support them in their biggest need. So I congratulate you and your organization for being part of this.
Nope, thank you. It's been fun so far to see the money coming in and the response we're getting. It's,
that magic touch, Brian. Every time you post something, more money comes in.
We brought in a couple $100, say minutes after I did a post. It's a good feeling to see the quick response.
It is, and I'm watching, all the time. I'm trying to see how much it climbs each day. Try to get to that next point. We only have, I think, 14 days left.
Yep.
The crowdfunding ends on May 28th. The merchants should all know that they have until May 20th to submit their application. That will be the last extension given for any businesses seeking to apply for the grant. But the overall fundraiser will stop on the 28th at 11:59 p.m. So that's the stop time.
And you'll be sitting at the phone, right, just to make sure no last-minute calls come in?
No. If they want to keep giving money, I'll take the money. Trust me. We will take the money.
We certainly will.
We'll continue to take the money even if they don't make that deadline. But as far as the crowdfunding page, the page will not be operational after the 28th.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a great thing for the town. I mean, and I'm always amazed at how many people can actually say, I'll support this, or I'll donate time to help out in this. And it's just a great feeling all around.
So over the years, you've been involved in numerous town-oriented groups, the Wakefield Community Partnership, formerly EPC, Main Streets. What alphabet soup do you have after your name these days?
Well, starting off with the planning board, then it went to selectmen. I've sat on the AmeriCal Civic Center, so I've already had that. I sat on the Chamber of Commerce. I've sat on the Main Street organization, EPC, which turned into the Event Planning Committee. I don't think there's going to be anything else after that. I think I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I'll remain a chronic volunteer, but I'll probably drop out of the leadership side of it and be told what to do.
It's a good position to be in.
Excuse me?
It's a good position to be in to
I think I'm
not be
gonna
the
like
chief
it a
anymore.
lot. I think I'm going to like it a lot, to be honest with you. If
So
you
what
say,
led you-
Mr. DiNocco, can you help us out with the 4th of July parade? I said, you know something? I have a lot of free time. Why not?
You know, I'm going to make a note of this for next year because
That's all right. I'll be a man of my words.
And I know where you live, so I'll find you.
Yes, you're always invited over, my friend.
Thank you. As soon as it's safe, I'll head on over to go hang out in the compound backyard there.
That's all right. We'll fire up the Bobby, and we'll kick back. I'll have plenty of soda out there for you. We'll have an assortment of food.
Works for me.
Coca-Cola, correct?
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure I remembered.
Yep. So what led you down this path? You moved to town in '88. You became heavily involved about 20 years ago. What kind of led to that point?
Well, when we first came to Wakefield, we were looking for, as my wife put it, a farmhouse. That's what she wanted. So as we went up and down all the streets looking, oh, this one's nice. We saw one on Wave Ave. I said, but that's not a farmhouse, honey. So we went down to the west side. I saw a Victorian. She said, that's not a farmhouse. I said, I know, but it's nice. Came down here. She saw the house. She saw the water. She said, oh, this is the one I want. I said, are you sure? Well, what made me get involved in the town was after 8 years living here, experiencing my first flood. And from that time on, it was, what can we do to make things better in this town? And at that point, the only way I figured I can make a difference is by getting elected. So you have to work from the inside. You can't work from the outside. I could be here on the keyboard all day long, complaining. But guess what? Unless you get up off your chair, go to town hall, oh, I want to be appointed to this, or I want to be elected to this. You got to get out there and put your first effort out there. Keyboards mean nothing. They don't get anything done. Okay? It just gets people angry. And we're not there. So I was flooded out too many times, and that really got me involved in trying to make changes in the town in order to protect people from flooding happening again. But that's a long process. 30 years later, it's always something that's in the back of my head when they say we're going to get 5 or 6 inches of rain. It's like, okay, now what do you do? you know what's going to happen, okay? And you just look at the river and you go like this, you know, if they lowered it another 2 feet, I may not get wet. But one of these days, they'll dredge the river, they'll clean it out. They came up with a plan maybe 2 years ago, $11 million to go from Farm Street to the confluence of the Saugus River and just clean it all out. It just has to be put on the ballot to make it go forward.
Is that a state project, or would that be a town project working with Saugus?
Well, it's a town project up into the Saugus line, and then Saugus would have to do something from there to the golf course and right to Route 1, because that's the way the water flows.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, you've got the road down there that floods on Water Street, right where Saugus meets Wakefield, and the road will flood out every once in a while.
But they repaired that. The confluence area that goes under Water Street was just repaired a year ago by the DPW. They did that. For the first 12 years, I always thought the state maintained the bridges in Wakefield. The one on Farm Street and this one.
Mm-hmm.
They told me, no, it's the town has to maintain those underneath the bridges. So, who knew? So,
A surprise to you, considering your position. I mean, you would have, let's take care of this sooner.
Yeah, well, you know something? Best laid plans of mice and men. You know, you have to pick your battles, and you got to know when to fight and when not to fight. And who knew I was going to get elected? You know, when I put my name on the ballot for selectman the first time, I said I have a chance. Nobody else thought I had a chance. And then this last time I was elected, I shocked everybody by coming in second.
I was at your party. I was there. It
Yeah,
was an
I
exciting
was even
place.
shocked, to be honest with you. But it happened. In another 3 years, I did what I had to do, and I do my best. I'm proud of my accomplishments over the 10 years with the Board of Selectmen. When I came on at the board, we had no money in reserves, stabilization, in the OPEB. There was nothing in there. We had no savings at all. I believe in 98, the year before me, they had big reductions at town meeting. You know, I think the school department, I think lost $2 million. They had to reduce the budget that one year. I mean, we were in crisis back then. But over the course of time, we made a few good votes and we changed a few things around. We now have a AAA bond rating. We have reserve money. We have stabilization money. The OPEB is well funded, not to its level. It's going to take time to get to a level, but there is a lot of money in there. We made some great decisions to get the town to a financial point to where it is right now. And twice I recommended, and it went through a yes vote, to not do the full 2.5% raising of the taxes in order to give the citizens more money in their pockets instead of having to pay the taxes. So we've left money on the table twice, maybe not, I think 3 times so far, that didn't get taken from the taxpayer, and we absorb that cost through our income, our income. So it's I think we did real well over the last 10 years. All the councils and selectmen over the last 10 years did real well to make sure that if we made a vote, we knew that it wouldn't affect the operations of the town. So I think we did a good job at that.
So to switch gears, I, as you know, go to a lot of town events, and a lot have been canceled, postponed up till July 6th. Now, I know the farmers market appeared before the council this week to discuss a new plan, a modified plan to be able to open on schedule. Where do you see other town events going for the rest of the summer?
I would love to say that we would still get off 2 events, but I think that the September event is still up in the air.
The Italian Festival?
The Italian Festival may not take on the look that it has in the past if it's presented this year, just because of time and what's been happening.
Right.
So I can't speak for the organization right now, so I need to talk to them and see what their thoughts are first. I think the holiday stroll should be able to go off in December, the first week of December. But, you know, everything's fluid right now. And we really just can't, you just don't know what's going to happen. So I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. I would love to have the event. I think the town deserves an event right now scheduled so that the community can anticipate saying, wow, let's get out and enjoy ourselves after being cooped up for 2 months. And trust me, I think the parents would love it too, because they've had their children now for the past 2 months, and now we're going into the summer, and they're going to have them for the entire summer as well. So I think an event of some magnitude, maybe a collaboration of thoughts, you might be able to put something on, but that'll be up to the Board of Health. It'll be up to the councilors. They'll make the call. And I'm not sure who else is there besides the.
I was hoping you'd have a crystal ball and just tell me everything was gonna.
No, Brian, I think my crystal ball went on the blink a long time ago. I had it. Nah, there is no crystal ball. There is absolutely no crystal ball. I wish I had one. I wish I could say everything was going to be fine starting next week. I'd love to be able to get some of the small businesses back in. There are certain ones that I know I would like to see get back going, if not the larger ones. There are some of the small businesses that I think can be put back to work, but I'm not sure what the governor has his advisory board is going to make. I just feel bad that that's not coming out until Monday.
Right, but the new plan.
No announcement of that coming out. He was adamant about that again today. He wants to wait until he hears from his board as to what they feel, what businesses. I could speculate. I could give you what my thoughts are, but that's not going to make any matters better than what they are right now. So I'll probably refrain from doing that.
So to end things on a positive note, and I don't know if you can say it because you don't get in trouble, but what's your favorite restaurant in town? I know you're out all the time. If you had to pick one and not get in trouble, all of them.
I'm going to give you I'm going to tell you just a real brief little story. I try to frequent all the eateries in the town to some degree, whether it be breakfast, lunch, appetizer. Okay. And I have gone to 2 in the same night just so that I know I can't spread myself. There's only 7 days a week.
Right.
But with that being said, there are some businesses that I go into and they go, where you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. And I'm like saying, wait a second, I was just here. What are you talking about? But so they remember. And that's what scares me. They all remember. Who has the best appetizer in Wakefield? That's my question to you.
I've surprisingly, I think my favorite appetizer would be the nachos at Harrington's, which is the weirdest place to get nachos or onion rings and things like that. But I just like it at Harrington's. I don't know why that is, but the Irish restaurant has great nachos.
So I'll do it real quick. When I go to Harrington's, I love their artichoke dip. Just give me the chips and give me the dip and I'm happy. Sabatino's, I love their rollatini. The warm salad at artichokes. Not the rollatini, but it's almost like the rollatini from Cafe Italia. I can't think of what they call it there, but that's a nice appetizer too. Go down to Bangs. I love just nibbling on their, small menu, just the appetizers. And any of those appetizers, I'll gladly take those. Tequilas, I'm not sure if I have a favorite appetizer at tequila, unless you want to do the guacamole dip. I mean, I would say that would be it. I mean, there's a lot of them. Dockside, go in there, get the steak tips. I like those. There's a tons of them. You go to Bellino's has great. Yeah, I mean, we have too many restaurants, and I hate to say that, but you can't have a favorite. Brian.
I've been trying to spread it out, spend money around the past couple of weeks ago to a different place every week, and it's a lot to choose from still.
Look at you now. We have Public Kitchen and Tono's. I mean, we have a lot of eateries in this town because we made it a destination location. People come to this town now because they have a variety of different types of food that they can choose from. They come from everywhere, all over the place. Our biggest loss in my eyes was when Molise closed. She had great food. And I still go up and visit her in Amesbury because she was a good friend. She was a great supporter of the town of Wakefield. She loved doing things for the Wakefield. Anyone asked her for something, whatever you need, You just tell me. Gift certificates, food. She was always supporting the town. So, and that's what I love about all of our restaurants. They support us to the end. And I don't think there's one of them that doesn't support you. Sunny Notos, Early Harvest. I mean, it's endless. You can go on and on for the amount of support that they give us. And it's not just the restaurants, it's every business in this town. Just go to the soccer fields on North Ave. Look at all the signs hanging from the fence. Go behind to the oval, behind the high school. More signs down there. So that's all sponsorship that is being sought. And these businesses freely write the checks out. So, I mean, you know it as well.
Right now.
Look at the 4th of July committee. I mean, they all support the 4th of July. Okay, and some of them would say, what took you so long? How come you didn't get here faster? It's like, okay, I'm sorry. But anyway.
Well, that's why we're going to put the link to the patronicity accounts at the end of this, and people can go on and check it out.
Excellent.
If you want more information from Paul DiNocco, where can I get a hold of you, Paul? Where would you prefer them to get a hold of you?
paul.dinocco@gmail.com. That's the best place to get a hold of me.
And I'm sure I'll be hearing from you more over the next coming days as our project ramps up. It's great to have you on tonight. Thank you, Paul.
I want to thank you, sir, for having me here. It was an honor and a privilege to be with Fox Fox. I really did like Foxtrot, though, but that's okay.
I know there's a lot of names that we could have went with that I didn't use. So you saw the list.
I did. There were some great names.
There were some great names that I had to tone it down.
Yeah, well, Fox News is it. I like Fox Talks, Fox News. That's good. I like it. And you can legally use that because it's your last name. But no, thank you. You're doing a great job. This is a great service to the community. We thank you for being a part of everything. Your volunteerism is outstanding, sir, and it's a great thing for our community. Thank you for your time.
We'll be in touch soon. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you very much, and you have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.